This morning, a Spokane man accused of shooting and killing his ex-wife pleaded not guilty. But court documents reveal it could have been a plan in the works for years.
Today, our fire danger is especially high. We're looking at a red flag warning through the afternoon thanks to breezy winds and low relative humidity. We'll talk about what happens if fire starts up.
Tracking the virus as the coronavirus continues to spread, we take a closer look on if Spokane's contact tracing plan has flattened the curve.
And withholding taxes, what is a payroll tax holiday and is there a catch? Your questions about President Trump's executive order answered.
Up with KREM starts right now with Jen York, Joshua Robinson, Evan Noorani, and Dana Marie McNichol.
Well, it's a pivotal week for college sports. The Big Ten is expected to officially announce its plans to cancel the 2020 football season today. That could leave other conferences scrambling to make their own decisions. And coming up later, we're going to talk more about WSU player Dallas Hobbs, who's at the center of the We Want to Play movement. Also this morning, we're asking you, what should conferences do about fall sports? You can let us know on our poll this morning by heading to our KREM 2 mobile app. Early numbers right now showing most people say that they should cancel. Of course, these are just the early numbers, so head to the app or you can go to krem.com/vote to weigh in. Jen, such a huge question. I know that it plays into so many different avenues of safety of people's lives. A big question that could be answered today.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the decision is. But hey, if it gets moved to spring, it could be kind of fun, right? If we're all heading down to Pullman for some of our Cougar football games, if we are able to do it safely, I don't know, it could be a fun change of pace.
The spring of 2021 could shape up to be a really interesting start to the year if everything sort of gets pushed back. But of course, cancellation also on the table. Yeah, a lot of questions that we're hoping get answered today, Jen, for Coug fans and other football fans alike. Of course, we also want to take a live look outside, looking to today's weather conditions. It's dry and windy out there, which has prompted a red flag warning. Let's check in with Evan Noorani right now to explain more on what that warning means and what else we can expect today, Evan.
Good morning, Joshua. Yeah, it is a pretty dry start to the morning, also a breezy start. You can see from that graphic there, from that live look, what we have as far as those trees just breezy and blowing in the wind. Here from the Outdoor Weather Center, pretty clear to start off the morning. Temperatures mostly in the upper 50s, so a little bit warmer than where we were yesterday. Yesterday we woke up to a lot of upper 40-degree temperatures. Today, not too much warmer, but still 50s is what we have to kick off the day. Now, Joshua did mention that red flag warning that's going to take effect at 2 p.m. today. This is the area highlighted on your screen to watch out for mainly. Now, even areas outside of this are going to still be presented with breezy winds and low relative humidity, but this is the area that just meets the criteria needed to fit that red flag warning. So that's 2 to 10 p.m. today. We're going to be seeing wind speeds, sustained speeds, probably in about the 15 to 20 mile per hour range. And then we'll be seeing your gusts much breezier in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, especially across central Washington. Now, here are your sustained speeds as we speak. This is current. 12 mile an hour sustained speeds in Spokane, 13 up in Omak, 7 in Wenatchee and in Moses Lake. As far as your temperatures go for this afternoon, we're going to be making it to the upper 80s and mid 80s, about 87 degrees is what we're going for, as that afternoon high will probably come just between about 4 and 6 p.m. before we start cooling back down into the low 80s by the end of the day. But also notice those southwesterly winds at the bottom of your screen. Going to stay pretty steady, increasing to the high single digits and low double digits throughout the day. Going to get breeziest as that evening commute comes around. And again, that fire weather watch that has now turned into a red flag warning expires at 10 p.m. tonight. I'll send things back over to you for now.
All right, not the best conditions for here in central Washington and eastern Washington, Evan. Thank you. And this morning we do have an update to a fire that's burning outside of Nez Pelham. This morning there are level 3 evacuations in place near the Lower Coyote Creek fire. That means you need to get out now. Now, this is a few miles outside of Nez Pelham. The evacuations are along Columbia River Road near mile marker 6. Aerial support and wildland firefighting crews are working to put out that fire. The National Weather Service experts say smoke today from that fire could drift into parts of northeastern Washington and even as far as North Idaho. The cause of that fire, though, remains under investigation. Authorities say it's about 4,500 acres in size. It sparked Sunday, destroying one cabin. However, no injuries are reported. Joshua?
Jen, so for this morning, we are learning new information about a murder in Spokane's Browns Edition that happened in broad daylight. Let's welcome in Nicole Hernandez this morning, joining us live from downtown Spokane with more details on that investigation, which started over the weekend. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Joshua. So the man that is accused of killing his ex-wife here in Browns Edition pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder yesterday. Now, 36-year-old Nathan Beal is accused of and was arrested over the weekend for a murder of a woman who was found in her car here in Browns Edition. So we learned from these court documents here that man named Nathan Beal had talked openly with people about wanting to hurt the victim in this situation. Now, these court documents also told us that the victim's brother, that he had told the victim's brother that she had, quote, brain damage because of a tumor that had been removed from her brain, causing her now to be insane, so she needed to be shot. Now, records also show more details about what led up to the shooting. Police believe the victim was at Beal's apartment in Browns Edition to pick up their 2 children. Her boyfriend and brother say she was worried Beal was planning to kill her. Her brother says Beal was had openly threatened to kill the victim for many years now, including talking about saving money and hiring a hitman.
Sir, I've entered your not guilty plea. The court is going to maintain a bond amount of $1 million. If you were to bond out or be released, the court's going to order that you not commit any further criminal law violations, that you have no contact with or be in the premises of any witnesses who are listed in the police report in this matter.
Beal was with both of his children when police arrested him at his home near where the victim was found. His children told police that they found a black pistol in their father's backpack. Now police are asking anyone who witnessed this, may have heard or seen anything in this area when that happened, to call Crime Check and let them know. Also, if you have any surveillance video here in this area in Browns Edition, where near the Rosars, near 2nd and Elm Street here, to go ahead and let police know. At this point, Beal is being held in the Spokane County Jail on a $1 million bond. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you so much. Time now for your morning rush. More news in less time. Overnight, Spokane Valley firefighters gained the upper hand on a fire in the Dishman Hills. This morning, that fire is out. Now, leaders say crews hiked into the hills and laid down hose to help. Crews say it burned a patch of land about 250 feet by 300 feet in size. No injuries are reported, and the cause is under investigation. In North Idaho, 23 inmates and 5 staff members at the Kootenai County Jail tested positive for COVID-19. Authorities say a vast majority of those who tested positive are asymptomatic. All patients are now in quarantine. And Sheriff's Department leaders say the building is being sanitized regularly and all inmates are screened before entering that facility. Washington Governor Jay Inslee announced 2 new coronavirus relief funds for immigrants and agricultural workers. The Immigrant Relief Fund will provide $40 million to Washington residents who do not have access to federal programs due to their immigration status. Those eligible can apply and qualify for $1,000 per person. The Salvation Army is still looking for volunteers to hand out 4,000 backpacks to Spokane students. The 11th annual Backpacks for Kids is set for tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The normally in-person event will now be a socially distanced drive-through at the Spokane County Fairgrounds. But they do need about 400 volunteers. That's about double what they've needed in the past. Those interested in helping can visit our website for more information. Shares of major airlines are increasing with news of more people returning to the skies. National leaders report the number of people passing through TSA checkpoints is at its highest level since the start of the pandemic. In addition, they report workers are confiscating 3 times as many guns and carry-on bags, and they say 80% of those firearms are loaded. Well, that is your morning rush. More news in less time. You can let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.
Taking a look at what's trending today, big news out of college football as we could learn the fate of this year's season. Multiple reports have claimed that the Big Ten Conference plans to cancel its season. An official word has not come down yet, but sources say that there will be more meetings this morning. In fact, ESPN's Adam Rittenberg says that in all of his years covering the Big Ten Conference. He says he can't remember a day when the league seemed more divided. And it's not just that conference, it's the entire Power Five. According to Bleacher Report, this is the divide. It's the Big Ten and the Pac-12 versus the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. So that brings us to our question of the morning. What should college conferences do about fall sports? Play, postpone, or cancel? You can weigh in on KREM.com/vote or by using our KREM2 mobile app. Now we know the answer from some players. They've said #we want to play. WSU player Dallas Hobbs has become the center of the debate here in the Northwest. Hobbs designed the graphic for the We Want to Play movement, and it went viral over the past few days. KREM2's Brenna Green spoke with him last night about how the movement got started and where it has taken players.
I started out as a group chat. We just talked about some conversations people had, and really what the We Want to Play and what the We Are United had in common. And that's kind of what we talked about and said, hey, you know, we can't let the media and can't let people divide us when we're really working for the same goal. You know, we all want to play, but we're just coming at it from a different side of things. We did something that a lot of people never thought would happen. Conferences coming together, players really coming together and voicing their concerns. And it shows that the college athletes do have a lot of leadership capabilities and have a lot of concerns that they do want to voice, and really to show all the power we do have.
Now, the group has settled on 4 demands for the upcoming season. 1, establish universal COVID-19 protocols across the NCAA. 2, give players the opportunity to opt out, and just as importantly, respect their decision. 3, guarantee eligibility whether a player plays or not. And 4, make open communication for players, which would eventually establish a players' union. And again, we want to hear from you this morning. What do you think college conferences should do about fall sports? A majority of you so far this morning saying you think it should be canceled. Of course, we're going to wait to see what happens with those official decisions, if there is an official decision today. And of course, a lot of college football fans looking forward to seeing if they're going to actually get a chance to celebrate their favorite team or not. Jen?
Yeah, and it looks like a majority of people this morning, 75%, say cancel the fall sports. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of hope out there this morning for people holding on to that season. But there's still a small majority, 13%, say, yep, let them play.
And of course, Jen, you mentioned it just a few minutes ago. If there's a chance that sports are played in the spring, that could be a great way to go around it too, as long as safety sort of stays at the forefront of all of these efforts.
And at the very least, maybe buy some time to figure out some safety measures and make sure players are happy and staff are happy as well, and everyone's staying safe. You know, and what our current situation is next spring, we don't know, but at least that maybe buy some time to make a plan for that if that is indeed the case.
Yeah, of course, we'll keep you updated with the latest decision on this update for you.
Sure. All right, Joshua, thank you so much. Well, still to come here on Up with KREM this morning, President Trump is promising to cut a payroll tax, and he says it will apply to anyone making less than $100,000 a year. Our sister station in Dallas looks into how it would work.
Over the weekend, President Trump signed an executive order.
Deferral payroll tax.
It's meant to provide economic relief, and here is what you need to know. This payroll tax deferral applies to those who make less than $104,000 a year. So the tax amount, which is almost 8% of your paycheck, is normally withheld each pay period, but it would not be collected from September 1st through December 31st. Your paychecks could be larger in those 4 months, but here's the caveat. The tax would only be deferred, not eliminated, so you would still owe those taxes at the end of the year.
It's going to have to get paid back at some point, but I think the urgency in the economy today is we've got to keep Americans employed.
Now, the one question so many people are asking is, how do I opt out? Is there any way to keep my paycheck the way it is? We asked financial strategist Ryan Morfin. He said employers will choose whether they and their workers will temporarily stop paying the payroll tax or keep withholding the tax regardless of the president's order.
It's highly likely that a lot of companies will not take this. At the end of the day, it's between going bankrupt and staying alive. And this is a lifeline for the companies that really need it. So a healthy
in Dallas, I'm Tiffany Lee.
We're okay. We don't need to take this.
Well, the president says it's now a campaign promise. He says he would make the cuts permanent if he's elected in November. Well, still to come here on Up with KREM, a storm with hurricane-force wind ripped through the Midwest, and it left thousands of homes without power. We'll take a look at the damage and what experts say about this unusual summer storm.
And it is going to be breezy this afternoon, especially through central Washington. We'll be taking a look at a red flag warning that's going to take effect and talk about our high fire danger going into the rest of the week.
And coming up in our next half hour, Spokane County's contact tracing plan is showing signs of improvement. And we'll show you the data to back it up.